And let's turn on the Zoom.
No.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners Board Work Session. It is Thursday, November 9th, 2023. It is 1:34 p.m. This session is set to go until 2. This is a hybrid meeting. We're at 3000 Pacific Avenue Southeast from 110 for public virtual attendance. You may follow along on the Thurston County YouTube channel. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Time Minister. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have interim county manager Robin Campbell, as well as assistant county manager Rob Kelter. And today on our agenda, we're having the winter preparedness briefing. And so Jason, and then Mike, will do introductions, and Kyle, and then we can go from there.
I'm Jason Ash, Facility Services Manager.
Mike Lohman, Road Operations Manager for Public Works.
And Kyle Bustad, Emergency Management.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Okay, so.
All right, well, good afternoon, Commissioners. As I said, I am Mike Lohman, the Public Works Road Operations Manager. And today's presentation is our annual report on preparedness for the upcoming winter. This is a coordinated effort between Facility Services, Fleet Services, Public Works, and Emergency Management. Providing you with information today is Jason Ash, the Facility Services Manager, Bruce Rohrbaugh, the Fleet Services Manager, Kyle Bustad, the Emergency Management Manager, and I'll be providing information related to Public Works. This year, a strong El Nino is being predicted. The outlook is for above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation. This type of broad forecast focuses on seasonal predictions, and individual weather events are generally able to be predicted when they are 5 to 10 days out. As I mentioned earlier, these are the work units that have coordinated on this effort and that you'll be hearing from today. Each group you see represented has specific responsibilities related to severe weather. And to begin sharing the specifics for each component of our preparedness is Jason.
Good afternoon. As I stated, I'm the Facility Services Manager. I'll briefly go over the items we have already done or that we will be doing to prepare for winter. So, stormwater basins at all county sites were cleaned in late August and early September in preparedness for winter rainstorms. Roofs and gutters and downspouts were cleaned in October and will continue to be cleaned every 3 months or sooner if needed. Staff has recently done emergency lighting and exterior lighting testing. All repairs were made as needed and everything is functioning to 100% of its capability. County buildings have been stocked with snow removal equipment and de-icer in preparation of snow events or freezing conditions. And also, beginning today, generator confidence testing and service began and should be completed by the end of next week. So, I recently reviewed winter duties with facility staff. We developed a plan for de-icing of county facilities when freezing conditions occur. Myself and the facility supervisors will be out before operating hours to assess all county sites. We also discussed the heating operations for all the county buildings, along with a plan for dispatching employees to inspect all county buildings in the event of a major wind or snowstorm. Mid-October, I met with the landscaping contractor. We went over a list of the county sites and prioritized them based upon 24/7 response and emergency response sites. So, and then lastly, the last slide covers items that I briefly mentioned earlier. All sites have had heating and lighting schedules changed to hopefully ensure that all buildings are prepared for business during operating hours. And then my last bullet point touches again on the fact that myself and facility staff will be monitoring the sites before hours in case of any winter storm events, and will report any issues to the county manager and assistant county managers. I'll turn it over to Bruce with Fleet now.
Afternoon, Bruce, briefing Fleet's preparations for winter. Winter prep has been continuous for Fleet since last winter. Over the spring and summer, hydraulic fittings were replaced. The stainless fittings and wire harnesses on equipment used to dispense brine were replaced to reduce the effects of corrosion on the equipment. Since mid-September, Fleet Services has been preparing equipment for winter operations. Equipment requiring changes to configuration are now set up for winter operations. Preventative maintenance was performed on vehicles due service. Plow mounts and plows were installed on trucks and checked for operation and wear. Anti-icers and sanders were installed, tested, and calibrated with the assistance of public works staff. At the same time, tire chains were checked for availability and inspected for wear. Brine transfer pumps at outline bolt pads were checked and maintenance performed. Construction equipment used to move sand and salt was inspected. In addition to snow and ice equipment, the sandbagger was inspected and the chippers are scheduled for service to ensure the county's equipment for flooding and storm cleanup will be available when needed. At Tilly, Fleet Services maintains a fuel island with 20,000 gallon diesel and unleaded tanks. When severe weather is forecast, Fleet orders additional fuel if necessary. Long-wearing plow bits and grader bits are kept in stock. Tires changed and flares are kept on hand to support winter operations. In the event of an emergency requiring 24-hour operations, Fleet goes to 2 12-hour shifts. Each shift has 4 to 5 technicians and 1 storekeeper. At the end of events, plows are re-inspected to ensure bits are ready for the next event and an appropriate number of bits are kept on hand. Chains are inspected and rebuilt if worn. The county has a wash bay with limited wash capability and a sprayer with salt neutralizer is on hand to help with washing down vehicles and neutralizing the effects of corrosion. Unless there are any questions, I'll be followed by Mike Loom.
I will ask a question on the emergency response. I guess it's a part of it that I didn't think about, having the 4 to 5 technicians per shift and having staff there. So can you like go and explain a little bit more on that and like why it's needed, why staff are needed to be on that 24-hour service during a response? Is it because like vehicles have to be maintained right after they're coming back from plowing, for example, and there has to be certain things done? If not, then there's damage or?
Yes, so when Public Works is on their 24-hour shifts, they have basically it's 7 and 7. There's a shift changeover, so the vehicles all come back in and are handed off to the next crew. At that handoff point is a good opportunity to inspect the vehicles, make sure they're still good for operations. Any deficiencies that would impede operations get corrected early. So that could range from minor maintenance like bulbs burning out to relatively major things like having to change out plow bits. We're also on hand in case something happens, a truck goes off the road and needs to be recovered. Fleet Services would coordinate the tow for that. So that is the nature of what Fleet Services is there for.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay, as Public Works prepares for winter, our main focus is snow and ice. However, we also prepare for flooding, windstorms, and extreme temperatures. Public Works oversees several infrastructure facilities that are considered essential during severe weather events. The Waste and Recovery Center works to ensure they'll be able to stay open for both the public and commercial carriers who provide garbage service to communities. They will also be monitoring their drop box locations in Rochester and Rainier and will report their status during an event. Water and waste utilities managers are preparing their pump sites, generators, and vehicles to ensure they are able to maintain service to ratepayers. Parks and Trails staff are prepping county-owned facilities and parks and along trails. This includes winterizing buildings and ensuring culverts, drains, and stormwater structures remain clear throughout the fall and winter. And our road operations division has been preparing equipment and training staff as well. While protecting residents from hazardous conditions is our objective, we are likely to experience challenges in meeting that goal. Like many other agencies, we are finding it difficult to fill our vacancies. Couple this with employees on vacation or out sick, and we could be faced with significant operational impacts. We continue to see long lead times for material and parts. This could result in extended downtime of equipment. And in an effort to minimize the impact this could have on our operations, we've stocked up on common wear parts and filled our material stockpiles. Regardless of the obstacles faced, we strive to deliver a consistent level of service that meets ever-increasing public safety expectations. To provide the best public service possible, Public Works began preparing for winter events early this year. Our vehicles have been inspected by fleet services to ensure optimal performance during winter operations. Training is another critical component of our preparedness strategy. This week, crews took part in an exercise covering equipment operation and emergency response protocols. This annual training includes activities such as installing chains on vehicles, loading anti-ice material, attaching snowplows, and loading sanders. During this training, staff receive refreshers on the paperwork associated with winter operations, policies and procedures, proper plowing techniques, and instruction on the proper use of our brine machine. Staff also take time to familiarize themselves with snowplow and anti-icing routes to identify obstacles that may present a challenge when covered with snow. During prolonged extreme weather events, materials such as salt and sand can be in short supply, so we stock up. Our brine tanks are full, as are our salt and sand storage facilities. As part of our preparation, we make our own anti-icing solution to use on roads during snow and ice events. We're one of the few government agencies in the area who have the facilities capable of making this product. As a result, we coordinate and sell brine to other municipalities at our cost. Agencies that have purchased this product from us include Grays Harbor County, City of Aberdeen, City of Olympia, Intercity Transit, Squaxin Island Tribe, and the Port of Olympia. This is the second season with our updated state-of-the-art brine machine. Last year, we produced 348,000 gallons of anti-icing solution. The machine is extremely efficient, and with the salt we have on hand, we can manufacture over 415,000 gallons of brine. Additionally, we've staged water over road signs, road closed signs, cones, flares, chainsaws, and sandbags at our outlying maintenance shops to allow for a shorter response time when those items are needed.
Can I ask you real quick?
Absolutely.
So, sandbags, so
Yes.
at the lot meeting last night, they showed us these like
Yep.
plastic things that they've hooked together and then the water, and they have foam rubber. I mean, is that something that's a good alternative? I mean, it seemed like it'd be a lot easier to manage and move around and get out to the sea.
Perhaps, I just became aware of it. The director brought that to my attention, and those seem like a great tool that we need to look into more and see how we can incorporate those. But absolutely.
Those the dams, the little,
They're just little L things. They're about as tall as this table, and they're like, it's like an L, you know, and then they just clip together. And as soon as there's any weight on them, like the water, then it locks them down, and there's foam and they're sealed. And they're like plastic, so
Yeah.
they're really easy to just, I mean, I can imagine trying to get hundreds, thousands of sandbags places and what that requires in vehicles and stuff. These look like I mean, I don't know how expensive they are, but if you had them, it seemed like they'd be easier to work with.
Yeah, definitely worth pursuing as an option. So this map illustrates the routes within our 6 response areas. By dividing the county into smaller response areas, we're able to focus our resources and respond to the needs of our residents in a timely manner. During an event, we will designate specific equipment and staff to each area, allowing us to facilitate an effective and efficient response. The principle behind our snow and ice response is that we have the ability to plow or anti-ice all of our routes in one work shift. A shift in our approach this year includes how we will manage multi-lane roads during an event. So if it is actively snowing and we're plowing snow, we'll plow the innermost lane of travel and move on to the next road. By focusing on one lane of travel in each direction, we're able to make all primary roads passable as quickly as possible. When all routes are passable, we'll focus on the additional lanes of multi-lane roads. To keep the public informed, our communications team will be working with the County Public Information Office to ensure that the public is aware not only of our preparations, but where to find information about the status of roads and other infrastructure during a weather event. This includes writing a news story and creating a video for distribution on county-owned social media and news pages. We've created a page on the Public Works website where information about all Public Works facilities will be updated and available to the public, including any weather-related delays or closures of facilities or roadways. There is also contact information and links to websites of other municipalities in our area, making it easier for community members to find holistic information about services during an event. We've also set up protocols to ensure that staff will provide on-site communication support, working as a liaison between Public Works staff, emergency management, and the Public Information Office to ensure that timely updates are provided about infrastructure. And with that, if you don't have any additional questions, I'll hand it off to Kyle.
Real quick, how many staff do you have that work on outreach for Public Works?
There are 4. I looked for help, I think.
5.
5.
Megan, same 5.
Megan's saying 5, I'm looking at Jennifer.
Well, it's
Depends on what they're doing.
exactly, so we have some that are strictly dedicated to solid waste. However, we've consolidated that group so that we can have that cross-training and ability for them to step in when needed, if our primary communicator isn't available.
Hi, it's hard to follow 415,000 gallons of brine, but I'll certainly try. Kyle Bustad, Emergency Management. So we held our annual fall winter weather stakeholder briefing on October 26th. Hopefully you were able to make it. If not, we can provide that information. I feel like I'm yelling, but I'm trying to.
Microphone.
We are working on, we've reached out to the fire stations across the county to make sure that they have enough sand and sandbags. So if they don't, then we will coordinate with our folks at Public Works to get them that sand and sandbags. And we also have sand and sandbags at the Tilly campus that the residents can come and pick them up. So if you're watching, come pick up sandbags if you need them. And we continue to work on staff training for emergency management to ensure that if we have to send out an evacuation message, if we have to send out a TC alert, if there are any notification messages that we need to send out, that we are proficient at it. And so we practice setting up and sending those messages on a regular basis. Next slide. So thanks to you, we designated October 16th to the 20th as Flood Awareness Week. It's also a reminder to folks to get prepared, that it's more than just knowing that could potentially be flooding, that it's also preparation for that. We mailed out flood bulletins to at-risk county residents. I believe it went to 9,953 residents this year. What's that?
9,000.
9,953. And we released a flood insurance on October 17th in coordination with Flood Awareness Week. So this is a reminder to residents that flood insurance is not necessarily, it's typically not incorporated into your homeowner's policy. So it's a reminder to get flood insurance, and that it's 30 days from your initial payment before it becomes in effect. So it's important if you feel like flood insurance is relevant to you and flooding could impact your house, or rental, if you're renting. It's important that you look into that, please. And then we will continue our social media and preparedness fairs. So we're pretty jazzed and super excited about social media, and we're trying to get better at it, deliberate, working with our folks, our PIOs, to make sure that we are sending coordinated messages and that we are informing the public on relevant information. And then it's also everywhere we go, we're talking about personal preparedness, and I'm hopeful that all my commissioners and all my folks in this room are personally prepared so that if you have to respond in a winter event, that your family is taken care of, that you have your go kits, food, water. So they say 2 weeks. I'm not gonna dictate to you what you should do, but 2 weeks. So, if anyone needs any help or assistance with personal preparedness, happy to, my team is super excited about talking about personal preparedness. Next
You
slide.
have a page on your website that's dedicated to suggestions for personal preparedness.
There is, look, and I didn't even pay you for that. Yes, there is a link on the emergency management website that people can request personal preparedness. So there's educational information, and if you want, if you want a presentation to your apartment complex, to your HOA, to your business, to your community organization, we can come and provide a preparedness presentation specific to that audience. So, yeah, emergency management website. We are promoting TC Alert, which is our mass notification system for the county. And we are encouraging residents to opt into this system, and not only just residents, but anybody that works in Thurston County, because you may work at the atrium, so there may be employees or people that visit or come to the atrium or come to Thurston County that live in another county. I won't say their names. But we want them to register because they can put in this address and they'll know if there's something happening at that particular address in Thurston County. So even if you don't live in Thurston County, I implore you to register if you do business in Thurston County. And then something we are doing this year, which is super exciting, is the River Spotter program. So we're hoping that we can get folks, we've already got some people signed up, some people that live or visit the river on a regular basis to sign up to send in to emergency management pictures when the floodwaters rise on the river. So we can get real-time information to provide to stakeholders and to get some situational awareness on what's happening on the river. So if there's any debris buildup or if we can just at least see what the rivers look like.
Can I ask how many folks do we have signed up for TC Alert now?
Oh man, Sonia, my TC Alert subject matter expert, is gonna wring my neck. I don't know, I'll have to get back to you.
I asked that at the last meeting
Yeah.
and I've got it written somewhere.
Yeah,
Find it for you.
I'm sorry, Sonia, if you're watching this, I apologize.
I remember, and I'm like, I cannot remember now.
I know,
It seemed a little bit low to me, you know, I know.
So I will say, I keep saying I'm super excited, that's because I am. I don't know if you've heard of Valpak, the mailer. So we are doing a TC Alert campaign, advertising campaign in Valpak. It's going to 80,000 addresses. So I'm hoping that we see an influx of sign-ins and opt-ins to our TC Alert system. I wanna say 90,000, I'm not really sure. I can circle back.
I know we're almost out of time, but I was just curious, since you were talking about some of these major events, what's the status of our disaster recovery frameworks that the community's been working on for like the last 4 years?
The mitigation plan or the recovery?
Recovery, like the thing that we started at Ocean Shores, and we were trying to create a governmental structure for a major disaster. There was like a committee working through, like, and I don't, every now, like once a year, we have like a big seminar and then.
Yeah, I think because of the turnover in emergency management, there was a stall.
Okay.
So it is on we have a new recovery coordinator, Emily, and she's finishing up the hazard mitigation plan right now, which should be submitted this month. And then her next focus is the recovery. So it's nothing new at this point.
Okay. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
But look for it in 2024, it's gonna be big.
All right, thanks.
And then quickly, these are our activation levels, and it's really for information on how we monitor, how we look in for emergency management and our duty officers in the ECC. So there's levels, there's minor, moderate, and major, severe, on how we activate and look at. So a minor event is typically just myself with my guy, Ben Miller Todd, and our duty officer, just having conversations, looking in, making sure that all the leaders are informed of what's happening. There's no real huge impacts, maybe some smaller impacts, and then the increases. And as the severity of the event increases, then our activation level will increase. And obviously, if we're coordinating with our departments or we have to activate the ECC, we would be on a full level 1 activation. And then this is for the flooding event, and then the next slide would be for winter snow and ice in particular. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
You started with that weather thing.
Yes.
You're like lower than average precipitation, but higher than average temperature. Is that a formula for, that's probably a formula, it sounds like, for not a lot of snow, the predicted? I mean, I know you can
It's
never.
good seasonally prediction. There can still be individual weather events
Yeah.
with that.
It only takes a few days, right, to hammer
We will
this.
hope for that. We will hope for.
But that's
dry.
consistent with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, 100%.
Cause like, you know, it's dependent on where you live and what that means, how those, were like when I was in Alaska, you know, warmer usually meant,
Yeah.
more snow.
Yes.
But here, warmer should mean less, I would think, cause we're usually near that freezing.
I hesitantly agree with you.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming in and for the briefing.
Yeah, thank you.
Adjourned, it is 2 p.m.